The darkness of space stretched endlessly, broken only by the distant stars that flickered like tiny lanterns. The alien fleet moved in perfect formation, thousands of ships gliding silently through the void. Commander Thaler watched the sensor screens with a calm, practiced gaze. He had faced many threats before, but nothing in his years had prepared him for what was about to happen. A sudden signal appeared on the radar, a blip that was not moving like any ordinary ship. The operators leaned forward, eyes wide. "Commander, we have an unidentified vessel approaching," one of them said, voice tight with surprise. The signal was fast, precise, and unlike anything the fleet had ever seen. It did not follow known flight patterns, and it seemed to appear from nowhere. Thaler frowned. "Bring it up on the main screen," he ordered. The bridge hummed as the ship materialized before them in three-dimensional projection. Its shape was unusual, sleek and sharp, yet oddly elegant. There were no alien markings, no signals of affiliation. It was human. That much was certain. But this ship, it was massive, far larger than any human craft they had records of. Its surface seemed to shimmer with a strange energy, almost alive, and it emitted a low hum that resonated through the hull. The fleet held its collective breath. The humans had always been considered a minor species, barely capable of defending themselves. Yet here was a single ship, alone, unarmed by their standards, yet it radiated power that made even the bravest of aliens uneasy. "Commander, sensors indicate their shields are at maximum levels, but energy readings are off the charts," another officer reported. "Weapons are unknown, but extremely powerful." Thaler leaned closer to the screen, feeling a chill he had never known. "Prepare the first wave of attack ships. Fire at will, if necessary." The command was sharp, precise, but inside, Thaler felt doubt. He had faced countless enemies, yet this was different. Within minutes, the first squadron jumped into formation and fired. Energy beams lanced through space toward the human ship. The beams were strong, faster than anything the humans had faced before, or so the aliens thought. But the human ship moved in a way that defied logic. It twisted, spun, and accelerated faster than the laws of physics should allow. One by one, the alien beams were deflected, absorbed, or destroyed mid-flight. The humans did not respond at first. The ship glided silently, almost as if mocking the alien attack. Then, without warning, it struck back. A beam of pure blue energy shot out, slicing through the lead alien cruiser. The explosion was massive, sending shockwaves through nearby ships. Others tried to retaliate, but in less than 4 minutes, the entire squadron was destroyed. 4 minutes. That was all it took. On the command bridge, alarms blared and lights flashed red. Thaler could hardly believe his eyes. What is this?" he whispered. Officers stared in disbelief, their usual confidence shattered. Every experienced commander in the room knew the records, knew the projections. None of it mattered anymore. Humans had changed the game entirely. Reports began to pour in. Ships in nearby sectors were being destroyed or forced to retreat. Entire fleets were being disassembled faster than the aliens could comprehend. It was not just power. It was strategy, precision, and something else, something the sensors could not measure. The humans seemed to anticipate every move before it happened, striking with perfect timing, vanishing, and reappearing where no one expected. The aliens began to communicate, trying to understand, to negotiate, to stop the killing before it spread further. But the humans remained silent. No signals, no messages, only the cold efficiency of a weapon beyond imagination. The galaxy had long underestimated humans. They were supposed to be small, weak, and slow to adapt. Yet here they were, proving every assumption wrong. Rumors began to spread through the fleet. Some whispered that humans had discovered technology from ancient civilizations long lost. Others said they had somehow evolved beyond known science, tapping into energy and weapons no other species could wield. Commander Thaler refused to believe such tales, but even he could not deny what he had seen. The remaining alien ships began to fall back, regrouping in panic. Thaler's own pride struggled against the rising fear in his chest. Humans were no longer just another species. They were a force, one that could not be predicted, controlled, or easily defeated. As the alien fleets retreated, the human warship hovered silently, as if observing, calculating its next move. Its engines glowed faintly in the darkness, leaving streaks of light that vanished almost immediately. No one on the alien side could guess what it would do next. The galaxy had just witnessed the rise of something extraordinary, something terrifying. And yet, the humans had not spoken a word. They had not fired another shot after the first devastating attack. The mystery of their warship, their power, and their intentions remained unsolved. Every alien commander knew one thing for certain: everything had changed, and the humans were now the wild card in a galaxy that had believed it understood all threats. Commander Thaler stared at the fading blue light of the human ship, his hands trembling slightly. The silence of space seemed heavier now, almost alive. Somewhere out there, in the infinite black, humans waited, watching and planning. And for the first time, the galaxy realized that humans were no longer just another race among many. They were something else entirely. Something unstoppable. News of the human warship's attack spread like fire through the galaxy. Long-range transmissions carried the reports from the retreating fleets to every star system. Aliens in distant sectors stopped their work, their routines, their lives, all caught in a growing wave of fear. The humans had destroyed ships thought to be invincible, and they had done it silently, without explanation. In the heart of the Galactic Council, the Grand Assembly Hall was buzzing with alarm. Alien leaders of every kind hurried to their seats, their usual calm replaced by whispers, shouts, and frantic gestures. The Council had faced countless crises, but nothing like this. Nothing had ever moved so quickly, destroyed so efficiently, or seemed so untouchable. Ambassador Krell of the Xerian Empire slammed his clawed hand on the podium. We underestimated them for too long. This is no ordinary species. These humans, they are dangerous beyond belief. His voice echoed across the hall, sending a shiver through the gathered delegates. Some leaders argued for caution. We cannot rush into conflict, said Lady Soreth, a diplomat from the Seraphian cluster. We do not know their motives. They have not attacked us directly. Perhaps they seek only to defend themselves. We must communicate first, before we escalate this into war. But the voices of reason were drowned out by panic. Commander Browl of the Andrus Collective slammed his fists in frustration. Diplomacy will cost us fleets. Every moment we wait, they grow stronger. Every system they touch learns more about us. We cannot let humans roam unchecked. We must strike before they become unstoppable. The debates raged for hours. Holographic maps of the galaxy displayed the paths of retreating fleets, with every destroyed ship marked in glowing red. The council members studied the data with growing horror. In 4 minutes, entire squadrons had been wiped out. 4 minutes. That simple number alone had shattered centuries of confidence in their military might. Meanwhile, rumors grew in the corridors outside the hall. Servants whispered to guards, engineers spoke in hushed tones to scholars. Tales of humans moving faster than thought possible, of weapons that could cut through shields like paper, and of strategies no one could anticipate spread quickly. Every alien, no matter their rank, began to question everything they thought they knew about humans. Even the most experienced generals were shaken. Admiral Rin, who had fought dozens of wars, paced the hall in disbelief. We have studied every species for centuries, he said to no one in particular. We have never encountered anything like this. The humans, they are rewriting the rules of war before our eyes. As night fell across the Council's planet, the delegates realized something frightening. Humans had not just destroyed fleets, they had destroyed the very assumptions the galaxy relied on. No one knew their technology, their power, or even their intentions. And more terrifyingly, the humans were silent. They did not send threats, they did not negotiate, they did not explain. They acted only, and what they had done so far had already shaken the galaxy to its core. In private chambers, some leaders began to fear the worst. What if humans are not only powerful, whispered Ambassador Vec, but also patient? What if they are waiting for the perfect moment to strike further? Others dismissed such fears as paranoia, but deep down, even the skeptics could not deny that humans had changed the balance of power forever. By the next morning, the Council reached a tentative agreement. More reconnaissance fleets would be sent to observe the humans, but no large-scale attack would be allowed until they understood what they were facing. Orders went out across the galaxy, urging caution, but also warning all systems to prepare for possible conflict. Outside the Council chambers, the stars burned on, indifferent to the panic below. Somewhere out there, the human warship continued its silent patrol. It moved with purpose, but without malice. It struck only when provoked, or when opportunity demanded. And still, no messages were sent. No warnings were given. Humans remained a mystery, a force that could not be measured, contained, or predicted. In the weeks that followed, systems that had once ignored humans now studied every detail of their history, their technology, their culture. Every record, every old transmission, every forgotten artifact became valuable intelligence. Scholars and scientists worked tirelessly, trying to uncover the secrets that humans had hidden for centuries. And yet, the humans themselves remained distant and silent, a shadow moving across the galaxy, always present, always powerful, always unknowable. For the aliens, the realization was clear. Humans were no longer a minor race, no longer a footnote in galactic history. They were the new standard by which all others would be measured, and the galaxy had no idea what that standard truly meant. The Council, once proud and confident, had been reduced to fear and speculation. Humans had arrived, and with them came a question no one could answer. Were they a threat to destroy, or a force that could not be controlled? The answer, no one knew, and that uncertainty was more terrifying than any weapon. The galaxy's most powerful fleets gathered at the edge of the sector. Ships of every size and shape lined up in formation, their weapons primed, their engines ready. Commanders barked orders, confident that this time, humans would not be able to escape. They had prepared for months, studying the earlier attacks, analyzing human tactics. They believed knowledge and numbers would win the day. Commander Thaler returned to the bridge of his flagship, his eyes scanning the vast network of ships before him. "This time, we strike with everything," he said, his voice steady but tense. "No mistakes. No hesitation. Humans may be clever, but they cannot destroy all of us." His officers nodded, though some faces betrayed the same fear that had haunted him since the first encounter. The alien fleets advanced, stretching across millions of kilometers of space. Each squadron had been trained for precision and speed, coordinated like a single organism. The humans could not possibly withstand such overwhelming force, the commanders believed. Then, just as they approached the coordinates where the human warship had last been seen, it appeared. Silent, alone, and impossibly fast. Its sleek hull glowed faintly in the darkness, cutting through the void with ease. Sensors could not track its exact speed or maneuvers. Every calculation failed, every prediction fell short. The first wave of alien ships fired their energy cannons. Beams of light streaked across space, converging on the human warship. But once again, the humans moved like nothing the aliens had ever experienced. The ship twisted, darted, and vanished from sight in an instant, leaving the beams to harmlessly explode in empty space. Then the humans struck. A single beam of blue energy shot out, slicing through the lead cruiser like a knife through silk. The explosion rocked nearby ships, and chaos erupted across the formation. Alien pilots tried to regroup, but the humans were everywhere at once, appearing behind, above, and below, attacking from impossible angles. Within 4 minutes, the elite fleets were in ruins. Ships collided, shields failed, and engines flared in desperate attempts to escape. The humans did not pursue endlessly, they struck, vanished, and waited. But the effect was devastating. Ships that had been considered the pride of the galaxy were now nothing more than floating wreckage. On Thaler's bridge, alarms blared and lights flashed red. Officers shouted over the chaos, trying to coordinate retreat or counterattack. But even their most advanced strategies were useless. The The human warship seemed to anticipate every move, countering instantly and with surgical precision. "Commander, we cannot hold formation," one officer yelled. They are too fast, too strong." Thaler clenched his fists, feeling the bitter sting of disbelief. Every battle he had fought, every enemy he had faced, had prepared him for strategy, for cunning, for endurance. But nothing could prepare him for this. Humans were not just strong, they were unpredictable. They were a force of nature that could not be understood, and certainly could not be defeated with conventional tactics. The remaining alien ships began to retreat, scattering in all directions. Some fled toward wormholes, others toward hidden systems, hoping to escape the human presence. But even as they fled, the humans did not follow immediately. The warship hovered, a silent sentinel in the void, watching, waiting. Across the galaxy, transmissions carried the news. The elite fleets had fallen in 4 minutes. Entire sectors were shaken. Panic spread as the message reached every major planet, every council chamber, and every military command. Humans were no longer an unknown threat, they were now the most feared species in the galaxy. Speculation ran wild. Some believed humans had discovered ancient technology lost for millennia. Others suggested they had tapped into energy fields beyond understanding. Scientists, generals, and politicians scrambled to find explanations, but the truth remained elusive. Humans had shown power and skill far beyond anything the galaxy had recorded, yet they offered no explanations, no demands, no communications. And in the silence of space, the human warship continued its patrol. Its engines glowed softly, leaving streaks of light that faded into the darkness. It was not aggressive unless provoked. It did not chase unless necessary. But it had already rewritten the rules of war in the galaxy, and every species knew that nothing would ever be the same again. In the ruins of the defeated fleets, survivors whispered of the humans' abilities. They spoke of speed, precision, intelligence, and ruthlessness. They spoke of fear and awe, and a new understanding of what it meant to be powerful. And far away, where no sensors could reach, the humans moved silently, their mission unknown, their intentions hidden, their power undeniable. The galaxy had faced many enemies, but none like this. And as commanders began to regroup, plotting their next moves, a new truth became clear. Humans were no longer just another species to monitor. They were the force that would define the future of the stars, and no one could predict what they would do next. After the disastrous encounter, the aliens were desperate to understand what had happened. Fleets that had once been confident now trembled at the thought of humans. Commanders gathered in hidden stations, studying every bit of data captured from the battle. The human warship had vanished as silently as it had appeared, leaving only chaos and questions behind. Spies and scouts were sent to trace its path. Sensor logs were analyzed, holographic projections reconstructed, and theoretical models debated. But nothing matched what the humans had done. Every calculation failed. Every prediction crumbled. The warship seemed to move not just faster than their technology allowed, but smarter. It anticipated every attack before it even began. Dr. Vecklin, a leading scientist of the Andrus Collective, stared at the readings in disbelief. "It's impossible," he whispered. "No ship should be able to manipulate gravity fields, accelerate like that, and fire weapons with such precision. Yet, the data doesn't lie." He rubbed his tentacles over his eyes, exhausted but unable to look away. The aliens discovered something even stranger. The human warship drew energy from a source no one could identify. It did not match any known star, crystal, or reactor pattern. Its shields absorbed attacks without weakening, yet the energy consumption seemed infinite. Some speculated the humans had unlocked a form of energy the galaxy had forgotten, or never known. Others refused to believe it, calling it myth or exaggeration. But the survivors told the same story, and their accounts were terrifyingly consistent. Commanders debated strategy. Some suggested sending more fleets to attack, hoping numbers might overwhelm the humans. Others, more cautious, argued for observation. "We do not understand them," Commander Thaler said quietly. If we strike blindly, we may destroy ourselves before learning anything. They are not just weapons, they are intelligence, strategy, foresight. We cannot fight what we do not understand. Meanwhile, intelligence teams reported another troubling observation. The humans did not seem interested in conquest, at least, not yet. They moved with purpose, but not greed. Their attacks targeted only when necessary, and their patterns suggested observation rather than mindless destruction. This made the aliens even more uneasy. They had faced hostile species before, but every enemy had motives they could comprehend: territory, resources, revenge. Humans did not follow these rules. They seemed unpredictable. Across the galaxy, fear and fascination spread in equal measure. Scholars, scientists and engineers studied human history and technology, looking for clues. Every discovery brought more questions than answers. Old records of humans' early space exploration were mundane compared to what had been witnessed. How had a species once considered primitive reached this level of warfare? Where had they learned these tactics, this engineering, this control over energy itself? As days passed, fleets returned to patrol positions, but no one dared approach the humans. The warship continued to appear and vanish, testing, observing, but not committing fully to conflict. The mystery of its power only grew. Alien leaders realized that understanding the humans was now more urgent than defeating them. Knowledge might be the only defense in the future. Even among the humans' enemies, there were whispers of admiration. Pilots who had survived encounters spoke of precision beyond imagination, of speed that defied measurement, and of intelligence that could predict their every move. But admiration was mixed with fear, because no one knew the humans' ultimate plan. Were they preparing for war? Were they merely exploring? Or were they silently deciding the fate of entire civilizations? For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy faced a species that could not be categorized. Humans were no longer just another race, they were a puzzle, a threat, and a challenge that demanded attention. And the human warship, silent and enigmatic, continued its patrol, a symbol of power and mystery that haunted the minds of every alien commander. Even Commander Thaler could not sleep. Night after night, he stared at the stars, thinking of humans. He had fought wars, faced countless enemies, and survived disasters. Yet humans had taught him one lesson he could not ignore: underestimating them was deadly, and understanding them might be impossible. The galaxy had survived this encounter, but it had learned something crucial. Humans were unlike any other species. Their technology, their strategy, and their intelligence were beyond measure. And for the first time, every species realized they were not dealing with just a warship. They were dealing with an unknown force that could change everything. The alien fleets had regrouped in a distant sector, far from the human warship. Commanders met in secret chambers, trying to decide their next move. Fear and curiosity battled inside them. The humans had shown power beyond imagination, but they had not attacked without reason. Perhaps there was a way to communicate. Perhaps they could be reasoned with. Ambassador Krell of the Xerian Empire was the first to speak. "We cannot continue hiding. We must try to contact them. If we fail, at least we will know their intentions. If we succeed, perhaps war can be avoided." Some leaders nodded, though others looked doubtful, their pride wounded by recent defeats. A communication vessel was prepared, equipped with the best technology the galaxy could offer. Every frequency, every language, every symbol was considered. The message was simple: a request for dialogue, a gesture of peace, and a warning that any attack would be met with retaliation. The humans did not respond at first. Days passed, and the alien delegation waited nervously. Sensors scanned for signals, but the warship remained silent. It was as if it were observing from afar, choosing the time and place to act. Anxiety grew in every alien mind. Then, unexpectedly, the humans made their presence known, not through words, but through action. A small fleet of alien ships, sent to probe the humans' location, suddenly found themselves disabled. Their engines failed, shields collapsed, but the ships were not destroyed. They drifted in space, powerless but unharmed. It was a message, clear and unmistakable. Humans could strike if provoked, but they did not wish to destroy without reason. The alien leaders were stunned. Their attempts at diplomacy had not failed entirely, yet the humans had communicated more through power than words. Commander Thaler, watching the fleet reports, could hardly contain his disbelief. "They are speaking to us without speaking," he muttered. "We can feel their intentions through their actions, but we cannot know them fully. This is beyond anything we imagined." Discussions began again among the councils. Some argued that the humans were honorable, acting with restraint despite overwhelming power. Others feared deception, believing that patience might be part of a larger, dangerous plan. Every decision was weighed carefully, knowing that a wrong move could bring disaster. Across the galaxy, whispers spread of the humans' indirect message. Survivors of earlier attacks recounted the precision, the restraint, and the intelligence shown. Aliens began to realize that the humans were not mindless warriors. They were strategic, calculating, and guided by a logic the galaxy could not yet understand. Still, uncertainty remained. Every fleet, every council, every command post understood the same terrifying truth: humans were unpredictable. Their silence, their measured responses, and their immense power created a new kind of fear. Not just fear of being destroyed, but fear of the unknown. What were the humans' goals? Were they preparing for war, or were they merely testing the galaxy? No one knew. The human warship continued its patrol, moving silently across sectors, appearing and disappearing at will. Every sighting reinforced the same lesson: humans acted on their own terms. They struck only when necessary, observed continuously, and communicated only when they chose. The galaxy had faced many species, many enemies, and many threats, but nothing like this. For the aliens, the realization was clear: humans could not be controlled, negotiated with, or fully predicted. Any plan to confront them had to account for intelligence far beyond technology alone. It was not only a matter of firepower, it was a matter of understanding a species that seemed always one step ahead. Commander Thaler finally spoke to his officers after days of observing. "We must learn from this. Not just how to defend ourselves, but how to think differently. Humans are not just weapons, they are something new. Something we cannot yet measure. And until we do, we are at a disadvantage." The galaxy waited, tense and uncertain. Humans had shown restraint, but they had also demonstrated unmatched power. Their silence was more powerful than any threat, and their actions spoke louder than words. Every alien species now understood a simple truth: humans were no longer just another race to watch, they were a force that would define the future. And somewhere, far beyond sensors and communications, the human warship glided silently through space, observing, calculating, and waiting. The galaxy could only wonder what it would do next. Word of the human warship's power spread faster than any fleet could travel. Reports of fleets destroyed, attacks avoided, and restraint shown circulated from system to system. Every planet, every council, every military command learned the same truth: humans were not to be underestimated. Panic and awe grew together. Star systems that had once ignored humans now studied every movement, every signal, and every possible trace of their technology. Merchants, diplomats, and scientists whispered in secret about the humans' capabilities. Entire academies were repurposed to research the unknown, to understand what no one had seen before. In many sectors, fleets were ordered to remain in defensive positions, ready for attack but too afraid to engage. Commander Thaler oversaw one of these defensive grids. "We cannot risk another encounter," he said. "Every ship we send out must consider the humans' speed, intelligence, and strategy. They do not fight like anyone else we know. They are different." Even leaders who had opposed caution began to change their minds. Ambassador Krell admitted privately that no force in the galaxy could meet humans head-on without suffering devastating losses. Admiral Browl, once eager to attack, now spent hours analyzing hypothetical human tactics. Every plan ended in failure. Every prediction crumbled before the knowledge that humans were unpredictable, disciplined, and far beyond conventional understanding. Stories of encounters spread among the populations. Pilots who survived spoke of humans striking with precision, vanishing instantly, and leaving no trace behind. Entire fleets had been shattered in minutes. Humans did not kill unnecessarily, yet their restraint was almost as frightening as their power. Aliens everywhere realized that humans were not only strong, they were smart, strategic, and fearless. As fear grew, so did paranoia. Leaders suspected betrayal, spies were hunted, and alliances were questioned. "We cannot trust anyone," whispered one counselor. "If humans act, who can predict where or when?" Even peaceful species began to fortify their planets, build weapons, and prepare for war, though no human had attacked them directly. The mere knowledge of their power was enough to disrupt the galaxy's balance. Meanwhile, the human warship continued its patrols, appearing in one sector, vanishing into another, always watching. It did not act aggressively without reason. It did not broadcast messages. Its presence alone reshaped strategies, forcing every species to reconsider how they viewed power, conflict, and intelligence. Scientists tried to analyze human technology from afar, but even their most advanced sensors failed. Energy readings could not be explained. Movement patterns defied physics. Weapon systems seemed to anticipate attacks before they happened. Every attempt to understand ended with more questions. The human secrets remained hidden, frustrating and terrifying even the most brilliant minds in the galaxy. As the weeks passed, the galaxy began to see humans as more than a threat. They were a standard, a measure of what power and intelligence could achieve. No fleet, no weapon, no species could match them yet, and that knowledge changed everything. Strategies that had once worked were discarded. Entire doctrines were rewritten. The galaxy had learned to fear the unknown, and humans were the unknown. Even Commander Thaler, who had faced countless wars, knew the truth. Humans were not merely another species, they were a turning point. Everything the galaxy believed about power, strategy, and dominance had been challenged. And in the silent void of space, the human warship glided on, unseen and untouchable, a shadow that reminded everyone that the balance had shifted forever. The question on every mind, in every council, in every fleet was the same. What would humans do next? And no one had an answer.